Um, so we're workshopping businesses in August. Does anybody want to workshop something in particular?
Hmm. What do you mean by that?
Well, and I mean anything you're struggling with your business.
This train will stop
If
at
you
Milk.
want, Nate and I were starting to get into LinkedIn. We're gonna maybe workshop LinkedIn, which is fine. I'm very resistant to LinkedIn, so
Yeah, I did work for clients before and promoting in LinkedIn. You can, it's a lot of direct approach to people. I don't, posting is nice, but it's just what it is nice. But it's mostly about making these connections and doing this connections and back and forth between them.
like
And this
messaging,
generates conversations. Yeah, but messaging like with this is kind of like a little bit like cold emails. Have you ever done cold emails?
not really.
So the cold approach, it can work and it does work.
This
It just,
station
oh, my God.
is
Every time the announcer drops in, I have to mute it. So the cold approach, it does work, but it does need a little bit of a way to go about it because you're trying to send something that will interest the other party to actually respond to you. And you need to send it like a few messages, like one, two, three. So LinkedIn is pretty much the same mentality. And when you're trying to make a conversation going, so there's a lot of schools of thoughts, like you're trying to say something that kind of like hits on the idea of what you saw that person that he has or something like that, and present basically in a really short snapshot, like what do you want to talk to them about?
next stop, Kingsgrove.
Nate, any thoughts on that?
For me, the usually I just leverage my content in terms of build relationships. Kind of like, in a sense, like I'm the cool kid. Do you want to work with me or be a part of what I'm building? All right, I kind of use that approach. So, like, say if I have a video or I create some type of content, I really want like you to be a part of it or for a partnership, I'll probably send it to you and say, yeah, what do you think of this? Or yeah, so I kind of just leverage it like that. Most times people usually just come to me saying, "Hey, I see what you're doing at Legend. Let's work together." Sometimes they are trying to sell me, but like fairly recent, there was this coach that said, let's work on your messaging." So I was like, okay, great. I love feedback. I'm open for feedback. They sent me something. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good feedback. I don't really use LinkedIn like this. This is a great way to use LinkedIn. So in response, I gave them feedback on how to improve their messaging, right? So she comes at it from a different approach. I come at it from a certain approach, and both of it work. So let's integrate each other's approaches. Um, and kind of build a relationship from there. And that was like a couple days ago. So
Interesting.
yeah. So I feel like LinkedIn is kind of just it's just however you use it, right? You can use it to do the cold messaging. You can use it in terms of just you can create content and attract buyers. Uh, or you can just use that content and combine it with cold, right? If you're creating a whole bunch of content, people love the content, and you really want to meet somebody, or you think that there's a partnership there that can be made, right? So I usually reach out. Like my first time reaching out to what was it? To Spotify was what 2022, 2020, like early 2022. And I reached out to like their creative director. It was just I showed them a project I worked on, what we could do. It was at the time it was I was working with First Frame, so it was a client called First Frame, and just building like kind of like a media outlet that's focused on videographers. And I kind of used that case study in a sense and leveraged it. Said, "Hey, Sarah," which was like the head of creative at the time. Do you want this project? Here's something, and this is what it will look like for Spotify, and that's kind of how a relationship built. Right. So it's kind of LinkedIn is basically like a tree, has a lot of branches that you can go to and use, but it kind of depends on your style.
Are you cold message? Did you cold message that person?
Kinda.
Did you like
Um,
pick Spotify and then like find out who was working in the position you needed to be in touch with? How did you
so
do that?
one of my connections, I was already connected with somebody in their department, and they reposted her, and I was like, oh, she's doing like their marketing department. I think at the time it was a sales person that I was connected with. And at the time, like she's the head of marketing. She posted something, and I was like, "This is completely stupid. Like Spotify should not do this at all. But this is what it should look like, and it should look like what we're building at First Frame and doing this, and like kind of putting your artists, like the artist is why people subscribe to the platform in the first place. So focus on the artist, focus on the storytelling of the artist, and improve that engagement. Uh, so I basically just made, in a sense, a proposal, and I just commented under it. I said, "Hey, I'm about to send you something. Spotify, I don't think this is the right direction." Uh, Sent it to her, and then like months go by, and then she actually we met at a conference and she like messaged me and she was like, I I met you, I knew I've seen you before, right? Because we met at the conference. She was like, you look familiar, blah blah. And she's like, what's your business? Legend Initiative. And I'm like, that sounds so familiar. And then wait later on she looked back at her message and was like, oh, this is actually good work. And then, so it kind of took two things, like it wasn't strictly a LinkedIn thing, but the LinkedIn did help in the long run because she kind of recognized me. It's like, oh, you look familiar, and whatever your brand is sounds familiar. And then she followed me on LinkedIn, looked at her message, and was like, oh, but yeah,
Interesting.
so, but it is a good touch point, right? Especially if you are meeting people in person, LinkedIn. Like I feel like that's just the natural.
I'm gonna try this.
Yeah, you should.
I've
LinkedIn is
I've
very
found referrals through LinkedIn is a good method. People are willing to introduce you to each other via LinkedIn, and that can be helpful. But I've never had just straight up cold calling work without some other connection.
Yeah. So my experience on LinkedIn, I mean, I just am I don't fit in a square box.
you don't have to though. You don't have
Well,
to
the
do that on
approach
any
you're
platform.
suggesting is definitely outside of the box. So you've piqued my interest because like just posting on there and expecting to like build rapport and like get engagement like in like Instagram or Facebook works, it's like not that's not the strategy.
I I will say that it does work, but you gotta pick like you can't just talk about like the standard stuff. All right. And I feel like it goes for any platform. Like if you look at like what I post as opposed to what my company posts marketing stuff. I post stuff that has to do with like impact and culture and community and stuff that like kind of goes against the grain or like things that I don't like, I'll just make a post about like uh creators and stuff like that where it's like when you look at what I post personally, you understand like, okay, I probably don't like authority. I really care about culture. I really care about impact, right? And that's the type of content I post. I just happen to integrate. Oh, if you do this, this is why perception is looks like this. And if you change this perception, then the impact looks a little bit different. And we need to start doing more impactful things for the youth and stuff like that. So you kind of got to pick a conversation that you want to be a part of, and then you just use your expertise to see if that helps the conversation in a sense. Like my conversation is impact and culture. And where my expertise comes in is when we're talking about marketing and storytelling, what that means for culture and impact. So when somebody sees me or they look at my content, they already know, okay, this is somebody I either want to work with or somebody I never want to talk to. All right. So that's where the attraction comes. And then you just leverage it from there.
I've noticed when
Yeah,
you
Nate.
share them in the Discord, which is why I just shared the link in the Discord because Nate shares some of the stuff he writes. Um, First of all, I was just gonna type this. If the link doesn't work, I'll send a new one. Um, it's you post almost like opinion and blog style, like a little bit of information and strong opinions, at least what you've shared with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nate,
A
I
little
have a
bit of
question.
blog. It's low key rants. It is blog style just because I'm good at writing, but it's definitely rants. Like stuff that
Yeah,
I don't like or stuff that I feel like people should know. Like, yeah. But I
I
feel
can
like that's
rant.
yeah, it's like you know what really grinds my gears? And the crazy thing is I used to do that when I was in college. Like my freshman year, I used to have like it was like a little innate segment of like you know what I don't like? This is the SHIT stuff that I don't like, right? Um, and then first that was on it was on Snapchat and Instagram, and like people was just like laughing. It's mostly from my friends, like let's laugh. But I kind of just took that same approach to content when I started creating content professionally.
Did you have a
Nate?
question?
Yeah, when you're doing your content, I haven't seen it. But do you do like calls to actions on your content, like you're doing your thing and all of this, and hey, come and talk to me if you want to see how this works for you? Would you say people are communicating with you?
CTA, are you saying do I have a call to
Like a
action?
call to action, yeah. Like come and talk to me. Like you say your
Uh,
content, you do your thing, and then you said, yeah, come and talk to me. Because you say a lot of people are contacting you based on your content.
uh, on LinkedIn, not really. I just post my opinion and then they contact me. I don't really have a CTA on this just because like it's not an ad or something. It's just like LinkedIn is just me ranting, okay. And then people like if I want to meet somebody, like let's say if it's the 76ers, if I want to meet their creative operations department, let me use somebody else. I feel like that's cheating. If I want to, let's say if I want to meet the Miami Heat, um, the content I create, I can just leverage that and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna be out in Miami. We should talk business. So that's and then it's either we meet and or we don't. And usually I think I'm in a good spot where if they look at my profile, they can see that I'm connected very well with certain people. Right. I usually don't reach out to people that my connections don't know. Like if I don't have a relationship within that network, I'm not going to reach out. Like I'm not going to reach out to, let's say, a coffee shop that I don't know, right, and say let's work together. But if I know somebody that works with that coffee shop or knows them or they know them, then it's easy for me to kind of leverage kind of the similar circles, right? If we're thinking high school, then if I go to another school and my friend knows your friend, then I can leverage that and be in the same circle and we can all go bowling together. Kind of like that approach. So to answer your question, no, I don't put CTAs on my regular content.
You're
Yeah,
just trying to like be seen and then be seen and then be
yeah,
seen.
just standard content. I feel like CTAs is only needed on about 30%, that's usually the splits, right? 70% you just posting content. Then the 30% is where you have a call to action or you have an ad and stuff like that. Like if you was to go to let's say Instagram or any type of commercial. Actually, let's just stick with social media. Let's say Instagram or Facebook. There's content mostly, if you look at it, it's going to be 80% stuff that's just about the brand building, stuff of that nature. And then that other 20 to 30% is going to be an ad of like, hey, this is our offer. We're inviting you into it. Right. Not everything should be about that offer, right? Or that invitation. That's because you need people to kind of see that world build in a sense before they actually take action. If everything is just CTA, 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 every piece of content, then your client or your audience really don't get to know you in a sense.
Fair enough. And again, I'm just asking because I'm not really familiar with what you guys do. It's my second time here. Um, do you usually work with clients remote or you're working like only with people around you to meet them and do content for them?
Nate, right? You're asking Nate.
No, no, I'm asking Nick.
Yeah. I don't know. Nate, did you just
Did
sign
you
off
drop
for a
off?
second? There you are. Oh.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
My question was just because again, I'm not that familiar with the work. Do you work with people around in your area or you also work remotely with companies or businesses?
Remote and local. So I do marketing and PR, so usually national.
Mhm. Okay. I may have
I'll,
a potential. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I may have a potential new client onboarding in the life insurance sphere that wants to do more social like good content. So maybe it's something we can chat about after.
Yeah, sure. I'll put my information in chat.
I wanted to get both
And
of your opinions. Is your name Yogi? I for, I feel like
yeah,
you signed on as a different name last week.
well, it's Yogev, but Yogi is the shorter one. It's easier
Okay.
to pronounce
Okay.
for North Americans,
I feel
as
like
I
you're
came to realize.
more memorable.
Okay.
Yeah,
So your full name. We like it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
good stuff.
wanted to ask both of you your opinions on paid ads and like what you would do. Like I want perspectives on both like small accounts, social accounts, small ones, and then something like Spotify. What are you doing with an account that large? So on both
Mhm.
spectrums.
Next stop, domestic airport.
Do you want to start?
I'll
Nate?
start. So for small, what's the goal? Like, what?
Small.
Yeah,
But
like
I mean, I'm just because it's easy go to for me. The business Kickstart Accelerator. I've got like 300 people on Instagram.
so
Yeah.
you want to improve more followers, more people that's coming there,
More paid customers in the membership.
more paid customers, and you want to use paid ads, paid social media
I don't
ads.
know. I'm doing a lot of like visibility posting and stuff. So yeah, what would you do?
For a small account, I will probably say since you are small and like Instagram is still trying to figure out who your audience is and who they should send your content to, like constantly. Pick like one interest, like one topic within. Like so, you're a CFO, so let's say accounting would be a category, and then in that category, there's specific things that happen in accounting that people will want to like have an interest in. I, I don't know accounting that much, so let me just use like marketing. Marketing is a big topic, right? Within that is social media, and then within that is let's say content creation, And then within that, it'll be content creation to improve impact, right? And that's a specific interest. And that specific interest is so niche down that Instagram or any social media platform would be like, okay, this is the specific topic that they're going to talk about. And these are the people that would like this topic, right? So whenever you do an ad, let's say if you use Ad Manager, you can niche down the ad to their interest, and within that interest it's like community, it's like cars, it's automobiles, it's so you want to think kind of like that with organic content. And then the more you create that one piece of content, the more Instagram's going to recommend you. And then that's when your interests, like it's easy to grow the account faster, right? And then to get paid, then you're just kind of, it's kind of what type of invitation do you use, right? So the more followers you get, the more you should use stories because you can actually have a full-blown conversation. So stories and lives are good, right? Because people are spending a lot more time with you, are building a lot more trust, and then you can add that CTA, right? So you can be like on live, hey, I have this Kickstarter, or you kind of make an event, right? So for you, Abigail, I'll be like, I have this Kickstarter. Today we're going to be talking about um businesses losing money starting out, like small businesses losing a large majority of the money that they're making every single day. And then this is going to be, we're going to go live at 1 p.m. And this is what we're talking about. And then all my content following that is about that live, right? About that one topic for the next week. That way, Instagram is like, oh, wow, these are the people that's going to be interested. And then they're coming to you and they have so much information based off this one topic. And then they're going to buy from you because now when you're doing your live, since they already had all this content geared, now you're just closing. The live is just basically we're going to talk about this, but I'm also going to close you, or at least get you to convert to go to the website so you can get our newsletter. Because maybe you do need more content, you do need to spend more time with me in order to convert, but you do need to add some type of CTA in order to get a conversion. So whether that's a buy or whether they go to the website, they don't buy, but they join your newsletter and then you continue to nurture them from there. Um, but yeah, that's my suggestion for the Kickstarter. Uh, for larger accounts, it looks a little different. Um, so if you, what's the left hand? Transcend culture, right? That message is kind of how we work with a lot of major organizations, right? So Spotify, um, we don't work with Spotify anymore. Uh, but in 2023, 2024, 2020, that 2 year thing, we help with their culture, right? We help with the culture and that innovation of where they need to be, right? So Sarah came to us because they got away from what was working. Um, so Spotify had very, very bad years revenue wise. And part of it is because of the splits with artists and audience and app downloads, a lot of different things. Investors gotta get their cut. Um, but the main thing that they wanted to do when they first set out, which is what their brand was based on, which they wasn't executing, was like being, it's basically like anybody can create and have a platform, but they weren't allowing the artists to kind of be creators in a sense, right? So tell their stories to be in front of the audience, and they weren't leveraging the artists that they already was signed, that they already were paying. Um, so part of it was, for us was just developing a strategy around that culture, around that brand, and how to expand it and bring other people into it. So we started having listening parties and so listening parties, more video of the artist because people want to spend time with the artist, right? Even though I don't know why, right? Uh, but people want to spend time with the artists outside of just listening to their albums. They want listening parties. They want to see them. They want to see the behind the scenes of them in the studio. No matter if they know what the hell's going on or not, they just want to see them and they want to feel like they are part of the artist's journey. So part of that was just emphasizing that, right? So there's a lot of videographers, a lot of it cost a lot of money, but it also made them a lot of money. So I guess I'll say like with the Sixers, it's more or less the same thing, right? Where you're trying to leverage, right? So for social media, it's not so much about gaining the audience, it's about leveraging the audience, which most organizations don't know how to do or continually do, like launch campaigns and initiatives that continuously leverage your audience, right? Because your name can be big, but you can be missing sort of a lot of gaps. Um, if that answers your questions on what happens for big organizations.
Yeah, I love that. It's great perspective and contrast. Yogev, you were going to share also.
Sure. I'm actually going to build a little bit on what Nate said, and the thing is this. Um, the way to use the paid ads is actually to get your speed going on. The main problem with social media, and probably something you know, the algorithm choose who to show your content to, even if you have the following, even if you have 50,000 people are following, not all of the 50,000 are going to see your content. They're going to be the ultimate deciders who sees it based on their whim. So using paid ad allows you to direct it, just like Ned said, to the audience you want them to see, and it moves things very quickly. Now you tailor made it to the ability that you have for the budget that you have and what you can get to sign up people into, the newsletters or the free communities is actually relatively inexpensive because it doesn't take too much of a hassle from the people. They just come in, they just press the join button, and there you go. Right? What Nate was also elaborating, as far as I understood, was also the entire customer journey and the funnel that you're building them in with feeding them the content.
Next stop.
So I'm not really sure what was, but sorry, this is the answer.
Mind the gap between platform
We
and
can
track.
And
barely hear it.
it's perfect because this is the most busiest station. This is downtown Sydney, the biggest downtown Sydney. Um, so I wasn't really sure what you meant with the small accounts. Okay. But in general, if I got you correctly, paid ads is definitely the way to go. And not because I'm doing it, because the social media forces us to do that. If you want to get your outcome from that, you need to pay to play to show it to the people you want and do it quickly. It leverages the time. And this is just kind of like the thing they force us to do because they control the organic traffic. You can always win with organic traffic, that's fine. But to really be the one on the wheel, paid ads is the way to go. And just like Nate said, you're doing this with the various interests of the people. If you want to draw accountants, if you want to draw real estate brokers, if you want to drive mortgage brokers, you can pinpoint that. If you want to drive people that are interested in business investing and whatnot, you can do that. And the rest is just the quote unquote the funnel, where they come, where they stay, and what they see from you afterwards. But just like anything else, whether it's an email list, whether it's your Facebook group, whether it's your Discord community, they're in your area and you drop in new content and do the communication and activation there. The paid ads is just the way to get people to your thing. And yeah, I definitely suggest doing that because it's faster and you control the audience all of the time and you can control the message. That's the only way you can do it in social media without them bothering you with their no algorithmic nonsense, if that makes sense.
So you can like get around the
So what?
algorithm by doing that.
I think
Yeah.
you gotta have good creative and understand your brand first. I think there's a lot that goes into paid ads before you even start.
I've
So,
dumped hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into
yeah,
ads just trying to DIY it. It was like,
yeah, I feel like there's a strategy, there's a process, and you kind of like it has a lot of nuance to it, right? So that's why I always recommend organic content because you're gonna figure out what works. And then once you understand the organic content that works, then you just shift the creative a little bit, add a little CTA at the end. And then you just A and B test it, right, against other things. But there is always a process, and organic is the easy thing to see if clients want it. And you always should combine both, right? But you start with own, you start with shared, then you go to earn, and then you pay, right?
How much time do you give an ad campaign before you change the tactic?
I run so with the budget, I run multiple different ad creatives, and then you can kind of see what's working, what's not, and then you can kind of adjust from there. So it kind of depends, right? But I usually give it around 30 days to see what's going on, what's happening, um, and then budget ranges, like, but usually 30 days just to see, make sure everything is learning, also for you to process, right? So you're not going like is you can't understand if an ad is very like performing very well in 3 days. It's impossible. Like, oh, this is doing bad. You didn't give it much time to learn anything, right? So 30-day window is pretty good.
what do you guys think about Google ads now that like AI is like kind of taking over?
People usually
I
skip over
wanna,
Google ads, but it is good for like just touch points. People see it, but most times I skip over Google ads. Uh, yeah.
yeah, let me be a little bit of the devil's advocate. I've been doing Google Ads since 2008. And one thing about the what Nate said, the it's not necessarily about the time, it's more about the volume because if you're shooting for a big volume, you can within 5 to 7 days see a lot of because if your budget is bigger, just a second.
It's kind of what I was thinking while your announcement comes. I was kind
Yeah,
of thinking it's about
it depends on the
volume
list. It's about the
and
volume.
ad
You want to
spend.
measure,
Yeah.
yeah, so you can pour in a big ad spend and get a lot of data within a week. It really depends on the way. Now, another thing I want to add is when I work with clients, basically what we do is we create the marketing plan based on what goes on in the market. Because I see all of the ads, the people that are your competitors are doing. When I say your, I mean like the client. So it's building up the ads based on things that seem to have a longevity in the marketplace. If someone is running an ad for 1 year, that ad is probably working because otherwise you would kill it, right? And if you see a similar ad by another competitor going for a long while, it means that this style works. So we take the style and then craft it into what you wanna get. So my only two comments about it is one, you can do this method and try the organic. This is also a great way to do it if you get good engagement. The other way is seeing what works in the marketplace and imitate it to your needs. Just like Steve Jobs said, great artist steal, good artist copy, great artist steal. So you literally steal what they're doing, all right? And then the volume. If you have a huge volume in an ad spend, you can see results very, very, very quickly because it works 24/7 all around wherever you put the ads. And the last comment, because I'm also going to jump out very soon because I'm reaching my station. Google Ads. Um, I agree that there's people who, just like when they said that you would skip it, but if the message is strong enough and people are searching for, let's say I need a plumber, far difference, right? Plumber near me for a clogged sink. I really don't care if it's an ad or not. If I see something that looks good, I press it, I call them or leave the details. So it's all about the intent of the keywords. Google Ads still works despite many people knowing that it's a paid ad, but they don't care if it hits the need that they want. If somebody has a financial issue and he needs to be getting money now to fund his idea, he doesn't care if it shows up on an ad or the organic result. He's going to whatever is written well, looks inviting enough, and then calling or leaving the details. So Google Ads is still an evergreen thing because it's really revolves around the high intent of the search keywords, if that makes sense.
Are you
Also depend.
seeing as good a results with like Chat GPT?
Next stop.
So
I feel like a lot
James.
of people are going to chat before they're going to Google now. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I will say it pretty bluntly. This AI assumptions about what's going on, it's logically it's correct, but when you're looking for information-based things, that's fine. If you want to research something and you're looking for something, that's fine. But if you're in a purchasing mood like this, just again, I give you my plumbing example. AI can write whatever it wants. You don't care about AI because AI is not going to fix your problem. You get my point?
Mm-hmm.
And AI is just a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to the paid ad world today. Sorry, I'm dropping off in my station, so just a second.
That was very helpful. Nate, do you have thoughts?
I agree. It depends on the industry and the intent of the buyer, but it also depends on who you're competing against and what their ads spend look like. If you're talking about a small account, I don't think I would recommend Google Ads as their main thing to attract clients. What about you, Yogi?
Mhm.
Like if I'm talking to, especially if their competitors are spending a lot more money and budget on Google Ads than they have, I don't think I would recommend it. What about you, Yogi?
We might have lost him. I've been thinking about like I think if I did a Google ad spend, it would be for my one-on-one services for sure, and I would push it during tax time. 3 months, maybe 4, December through tax time, and that
Yeah,
would
can
be
you hear
it.
me?
But yes, my membership, I don't think
Sorry.
would be a good Google ad, but it would be a good social
Um, I
candidate.
have a way to break it down for you. Okay. If you want fast and expensive, then Google Ads will be the go-to. If you want it fast, but on the process side, that's the Meta ads because Meta ads would be cheaper. Now, for information related kind of services, now Meta is always a good place to go because people are more in this jivey vibe and all of that. So hey, this interests me, I didn't really came to buy anything. And you're kind of like slippery sloping them into your ecosystem. So I agree with Nate on that. And in Google Ads, because of the cost and the intent, it's really good when you want a direct response related thing. A hot lead, a hot purchase now, tax season, just like you say, could be a thing. There's in some industries that cost more and are not really relevant to certain businesses because of the balance of the cost is a derivative of the advertisers. It's like one big marketplace. It's one big bidding system. So, in regards to bookkeeping and the tax planning, I'm not really sure. I actually do run my own bookkeeper in Meta right now. Um, but we did mostly the Meta idea, not the Google ads for the tax season. The quick summary that will make your head straight about it is you want it fast and uh, let's say more expensive and to the point, that's Google ads. You want the longer term warming up and cheaper lead, that's going to be your Meta ads. And both of them can work very well when you are sending it into something that will make you a positive ROI. Because the name of the game with a paid campaign is I put $1,000, I'm getting 4,000 back. You're right. So this is like starting with the end in mind when it comes to paid campaigns. I'm putting money because I want to get that money back. So if the numbers in Google Ads will work for that, that's great. If the strategy is better for Meta Ads, then that's great as well. And both of them can be fine. Because in Google Ads, and that's kind of like the last thing I would kind of say about it is like, um, if people are in a rush and they're like on the tax season and they're stuck without a good accountant, so you literally tell them, hey, they're looking for an accountant for tax season and whatnot. He said, are you late? Do you want to file it on time? I'm a specialist in doing it right on time, and I had a lot of experience fixing bad tax reports because there's people who work with bad accountants. Leave your details now, and I'll show you how. Quick to the point like this, and it's going to be more expensive, but it's probably going to be a better converting one if they like what you have to tell them. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the story. Fast and expensive is Google for better returns. Fast and slower in the conversion, that's Meta Ads.
That simplifies it pretty well.
Yeah. Guys, I have to jump out of the call. I'm off to my meeting here, but nice to see you again. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
talk to you later.
Good having
Have
you.
a good one.
See you later, Yogi.
Thank you. Yeah, bye-bye.
That was good. That was helpful.
Yeah.
I,
Business Kickstarter.
mm, hmm
So, so do you,
I, what?
so what's the main thing that you help solve, like for outcomes?
Um, I don't want to give too much information,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, at the same time I do. It's for new business owners to understand and be able to create their own financial reports and have access to a CFO at an affordable price.
Okay. So create their own. So do it
DIY
yourself, but
bookkeeping
still
with
have you in their
support.
back pocket.
Hmm?
So learn how to do it themselves, or like be adequate enough to do it themselves, but still have you in their back pocket.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. Why? Like, why would they want to
Um,
do it themselves, and why would they want a CFO?
a lot of people are doing it themselves and they're doing it poorly. And then years later, when they're overwhelmed by it or like their business has grown too much, they're calling me up with like huge messes to clean up. Taxes are overpaid or late, years unfiled. Um, so it's to avoid that, keep them accountable, keep them working on it on a regular, consistent basis. The other reason why, the selfish reason why, is because I don't want, I mean, I love to do the mess, but I also would love to take on, $1 million client where they've been doing a good job. They know how to read it, and we can like get really into it instead of me having to teach them all of the basics when they're really far down the line. I'd rather get into it and like start forecasting and budgeting and cash flow planning and doing like the really fun to me stuff because they already know the foundations.
How many
Okay.
of your current clients are already there?
Already there and in like the cash flow and forecasting.
Yeah.
Few of them.
Okay. So basically, to prevent hell, prevent to prevent
Chaos, mess.
tax
I'm
hell.
going with like hot mess branding. So like the entrepreneur that is like fucking papers everywhere and doesn't know if they're coming or going and doesn't know how much cash they have, doesn't know if they can make payroll, doesn't even know how to set up payroll. Like, let's back it up even further. What is payroll? What's the difference between a contractor and an employee? What's the right decision to make?
So you want them to prevent hell, to prevent tax hell. I feel like that should be your thing. That should be your content. That should be the category. Prevent tax hell. That's very
So
specific. It's very interest
is
based.
that
Like, I'm trying to prevent stress and hell. Like I'm trying to stay out of hell. Stay out
That
of tax
covers
hell.
the transformation also.
but is that the category of customer that you're wanting to attract and move forward with, or is that the historical customer that you've always had? Because it sounds to me like you'd like to move out of always attracting those guys and move into people who've kind of gone through that and are ready to take a next step in growth.
I like both.
Which one
I
makes
can
you
handle one like on with a one-on-one, onboarding throughout the year. I can't handle constantly taking on messy client situations, but I can stagger like the nice, clean, easies and the messes. And I do like to take on the messes because they're hard and they're challenging, but it costs the client a fortune to bring a mess to me. I have one client that just, and we were talking about pricing last week, but um they just spent like $4,500 in 1 month, and it's taken me more than 1 month to fix 2025.
okay? So you like the problems. You're fine with the
I
problems.
love the problems.
But you want higher end clients to bring you the problems and not lower end clients.
Yes, that would be ideal.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
So
that's fair assessment.
so I think like your content should be stay out of tax hell, right? I feel
Mm.
like it scales to higher end clients. So obviously you're going to talk to the higher end clients and the smaller ones can join, let's say, are you recording your one-on-ones or at least like yourself and like is it a teaching program? I feel like for
I'm recording myself in the platform, but I'm not recording client meetings and
yeah.
putting them on the
So I
platform.
feel like once you have courses set up, then you can focus the one-on-ones with just higher end clients. And then the courses would be basically stay out of tax hell university. And
Yeah.
then they could that way you still have that revenue diversification, but I feel like your content should mainly be about staying out of tax hell. And it should be a content series. Because I also feel like you kind of talk about tax hell in some of your content, like especially with you um one of your posts you was like I got dropped 3 weeks ago and he still comes back to me. He's trying to be in tax hell. Like stuff like that. I feel like your content already goes towards that. But I feel like just that type of creativity and that type of niching down would help you improve your organic content. So everything is about staying out of tax hell. And then in between, you show stories of like you shooting, right? Why did you learn how to shoot? So I can stay out of tax hell. I can stay away from tax demons, like stuff like
Sometimes I'm
this.
like, fuck the IRS. That's also my message for my one-on-ones. Like, keep your
And
money.
yeah, and IRS can be the hidden Satan or devil or whatever
Love
it is.
it.
And
Love
then
it,
you
Nate.
right. So, but like it stays within that category, and then like Instagram, Threads, you're mostly on Meta, right? So, are
Yeah.
you on TikTok?
Ew.
Uh,
No, I'm not. I'm on Meta, and now I hate that. Thanks for pointing that
you
out.
did not have to say
Satan
ill,
platform.
but all right. Meta's kind of platform kind of goes towards that intent and interest base, and when you make content that's solely based on that every single time, right? Staying out of tax hell, stress, all these different values that are associated with that, then it's easy to recommend you. So you're going to get recommended to basically money loss prevention, right? You're going to get pushed towards the like CPAs, the CFOs, all these different things where people show an interest in that, but yours is going to be so unique. That's how you want to stand out, right? Because
Hmm.
the hardest part when it comes to organic or any type of branding is standing out. And that's why it's good to have a kind of a certain series that you're known for, right? So for you, I think it should be stay out of tax out, and then you can be as creative as you want. But I feel like that should be a concept. You can obviously just switch it around the concept, but I feel like staying preventive services, right? And this is why you want to do it because nobody wants to go through this. Nobody wants to be in hell, right? And then you can just kind of play with that. And then obviously, so it's gonna be easier. So the hardest part is brand. I think when it comes down to marketing, the hardest part is brand because if you market the wrong thing, right, you kind of want your brand to be a closer. That's why marketing performs so well for some people and not others. It's because their brand closes for them. You want your brand to kind of be closing your
My
closers.
brand closes. Like my Old Woods brand just freaking closes. Like I was telling Gary before you hopped on, like I don't, when I get on a call, like a discovery call, it's closed already.
So
It's already closed. And a
you
lot, and this
first
was
time.
even like this before my wood chopping and my gun stuff and my, crazy things I was posting. It's just because I don't, it's whatever
You
I'm
started a
putting
new
out there,
brand.
the confidence. Huh?
You started a new brand, Kickstarter, a new program.
Well, I started a new
Technically the
brand.
same, technically the same you, but new brand, and you gotta build up the Kickstarter. Why didn't you just do this for the old woods? Like, why did you want to?
I was going to, but I had a few people suggest not to.
Yeah, it would kind of get. I don't know. It depends. It'll take like a lot of. I can't really diagnose it, but it'll take a lot to say like, yeah, you should do this, or no, you shouldn't. Like a lot of equity research. Like,
I
nah.
think the primary reason I was advised not to is because my old woods is really, and it is and it isn't geared towards the main cannabis community. At least it was for a long time. And that's a big portion of my following, my engagement is that. Um, where so with the business Kickstart Accelerator, I'm really looking for any industry, but it's startup entrepreneurs specifically, like under 500K a year.
There,
So
there, there was a way you could have did it.
I
Uh,
think so too.
it would have been, it would had to be a lot of content, a lot of media. It would have been longer, but there was a way that you could, like, the Kickstarter would have happened probably next year or like in 6 months, but it would take like a ramp up, like kind of like a
Yeah,
rollout in terms of your just original brand of Old Woods. Like it would take
it's
like a while.
definitely still in ramp up phase. Definitely still
Yeah,
in
but
ramp
it's
up.
already its own entity, so now it's low key too late because just it looks bad. Because then, like once you make something and you try to go back, then it takes longer than you
Oh
would. But
yeah, there's no going back now.
yeah, so but there was definitely a way you could have did it. It was just took like a long rollout, which I feel like
What
I
I'm
did.
doing is I am like not all the time, but I am sometimes like tagging my old woods or vice versa on stories or sometimes rarely in posts am I like collabing on posts between the two pages just to like bring awareness to my existing following and also build rapport with my new following.
Yeah, but make a series. Make a series. You can use my
Hmm.
idea. You cannot just make a series about a specific topic, a specific interest that people want to have.
Don't go to tax jail. It's
Don't go to
the
tax jail.
series.
Don't get locked up. Tax. But yeah, and then just play around with it, but only make content about that that's focused on that
Mhm.
one topic. Because sometimes when you diversify content, Instagram don't know what the hell you talking
It
about.
dilutes you. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I was talking about marketing, social media, Google Ads, paid, and all that, I went, and you also have more leverage. When you focus on one thing, you have a lot more leverage. That's why I'm able to say, hey, Sixers, we should work together. Let's help you transcend culture.
Yeah, I love your tactic for LinkedIn. I'm gonna do that. I've got a few people in mind. I've got a few, like I have a big social media influencer in mind that I want to work with. And I already am friends with her social media manager, the one that does all of her copy writing.
Perfect. Just talk. I feel like LinkedIn, you just treat it like a conversation.
Yeah.
Like it's like I feel like it's low key just actual networking event. Like how I act, as also
Yeah.
I probably act the same everywhere. So that's probably
I
yeah.
can't not act the same everywhere. So
Yeah.
like that's
So that's
about
so
LinkedIn
I
is
feel
I
like
gotta figure out how
that's
to make that work for me.
yeah, that's the key. So like the same way I would approach somebody in like a networking event, and I'm like, oh, he does this. Oh, we should talk. I'll do that on LinkedIn. I just yeah. It's not as complicated as everybody makes it
I think
seem.
I'm gonna post the Spotify recordings on LinkedIn on Fridays. Or like the link to the Spotify.
Both.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
post,
Wednesday, here's the live, Friday, here's the recording.
yeah, post a clip. Just post a
Monday,
clip.
here's my rant.
Yeah, you can
Post a
post like
clip.
break it up to different clips that you liked or enjoyed, like parts. Post it like 30-second, 45-second clips. Put it on LinkedIn. Have like whoever's talking and then your face, and then have it like that. Um, and then boom, you got like a nice little short reel. You can also post it on YouTube Shorts, but you have like a nice little short reel. And then, hey, if you want to see or hear more about this conversation or even become part of it, check out our Spotify link or check out this event thing. We have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And follow me for more. Well,
Boom.
social
All
media is very
right. All right.
just drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
Hmm.
I'll be on LinkedIn this week and we'll get more people in here for next week. There was a good group last week, so we'll see what
It's all
happens.
good.
Be the actually, Abigail, this is what I want you to do. Um,
I'm ready.
Abigail got some. Here's the bullshit.
Nope. Do I
So
take notes? No, I'm gonna listen to every word. You're a high
so
value person
the
in my life, so I listen to you.
appreciate that. The emails you be writing, just just write a shorter version of it. Put it
I'm
on.
writing a short one right now because I'm like, I don't
Oh,
fucking
well,
care.
just put it straight, straight on LinkedIn.
Put it straight on LinkedIn. All
Put
right.
it straight on LinkedIn. You don't have to fit into a box. I don't fit into a box. Gary doesn't fit into a box.
Gary's been on his tractor this whole meeting.
Yep. Could you guys hear the sheep in the background?
No.
No, that's good.
Also, it's dark outside here. You can tell, but
Well, it's only 5:15 here, so
that's my old farmhouse.
Pitch black. It's dark out here now. I'm in Maryland. It is not super dark. It's like
I'm
it's
gonna
about to get there.